camera.
Oh, no.
The action. No, you're live. You're not supposed to see this part yet.
No. I forgot to turn the
You're not
lights
supposed to
on.
see this part yet.
I forgot to turn the lights on.
Oh no.
Now we get a lovely up the shirt shot. There we go.
Hey, what do you think about that?
Now you can see us.
What do you think about that?
Can we? They're slow to answer, aren't they? So
Howdy, FinFlix.
welcome.
Yes, welcome,
Jose Secco.
Hi, everybody.
So everybody who happens to be here right now, and if you're watching this later, actually, I think you can cut live streams later. Sounds okay?
Oh, that's.
Is it coming from here?
Well, I'm delayed.
So tell me.
Yeah.
Good. That's exactly what I wanted.
So,
I was saying I think you can cut live streams after the fact. But if you can't, then you'll all find out because you'll be watching this. So, why are we talking into
mics
these
that you're
mics
not hearing?
if you're not listening to this one?
Sorry, yeah, you're not hearing our nice, crispy,
Crispy
cool,
voice.
nice
That's
mic voices because these are plugged into something else,
Yes.
not what you're
What you're
hearing.
listening to.
Yeah.
So, what you're hearing is for YouTube. What you guys, I'm talking to this machine down here. This is our podcast. So if you haven't ever heard, Quest for the Best is our podcast that we've been doing more than a year now. This is the 50th episode.
more than
2 years, probably, because this is the 50th episode.
Oh my goodness, guys!
Kind of.
We did
okay. we did a half of an episode, if you recall, for the Quiet Place.
Oh,
It was a short one, and we called it a half episode, which really messed us up because now we're always a half. So I'm just going to call this 50th episode. Leave it at that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
yeah,
should have recorded that for the podcast part. You guys get an extra special intro. The podcast hasn't actually started yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm still single.
I was going to say...
But that's not how you spell my name.
That's a good try, though.
I've seen it spelled so many ways.
I'm not gonna
read
the comments. We're not reading the comments.
Just...
But my lovely wife Kim is reading
I don't have internet.
the good ones. Oh, she doesn't have internet? How did you hear me earlier?
Well, it started spinning and now it's just still spinning.
Spinning. Yeah, we did do a video with Frame Raider. It was really cool. I mean,
his video was cool.
We didn't
recording our answers wasn't super cool. It was fine.
It was fine. But he did an awesome job. Yeah, it was cool. See him go into such detail and point out things that even I like. Oh, that's funny. I never RC eating whatever. Did we do that on purpose?
I did that on purpose.
See,
well, because it was coming so close. I was like, I'll just time this just right.
It's just funny that somebody really
somebody noticed
looked at everything.
Yeah, that was cool. I think he did a good job. But his stuff is geared towards the technical, so I'd like somebody to do it who is geared towards just film stuff.
Sure,
it's unique in that it's there aren't a whole lot of shot-for-shot remakes of anything, but much less an animated thing. I would like somebody to look at it from that way. The thing that Frame Raider did was something that I kind of wanted to do and have, just a in-depth sort of video. But I don't have time for that. And that's not my thing. So anyways, are we ready to start talking about Onward? Should I record the podcast? This has become a tradition. I'm saying this on the podcast.
Yeah.
We're starting the actual podcast starting now.
I clicked the button.
That's how we do.
Hello, people. How do you do today? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's not our theme song. Our theme song is when we see a new movie, we put it to the test.
You're supposed to keep singing.
And if we don't do that, it's because we have a great guest. It's Quest for the Best. Eventually, that'll be in an actual key that exists in music.
Yes. That day is not today.
I wanted to blow the kazoo too. So
you don't blow kazoos. You
whatever.
Hum in them.
Toot the
kazoo.
Anyway, So, hello, people. I'm talking to two groups of people right now. I'm talking to you guys in the podcast and you guys in a YouTube video.
Whoa!
It's so many levels.
Well, just two, but you know. So, what's become a bit of a tradition is that whenever a new Pixar movie comes out, because I don't know, we like Pixar or something, I guess. We will do a live podcast on YouTube, but also record it so that it sounds nice and it's actually a podcast later.
And we get two, contents.
Yes, double
At the same time.
yeah, double content, half the work. That's how we like to do things.
That's using the old noodle.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
So Onward, it's still pretty brand new. Obviously spoilers, guys, because we're going to talk about plot points, all the major plot points.
Yes, well, probably not all of them.
Yeah,
we'll get to it.
Yeah. I have no, I haven't planned anything. I haven't wrote down. Well, I mean, I thought about some things I was gonna say, but
sure, me
that's
too.
about it. So, obviously, for you YouTubers, you can
watch the movie.
Well, you can ask a question.
Oh, sure. If you're watching this, it's live right now. You can ask a question. If you're watching this video and it's not live right now, you can ask a question, but we're not going to answer it right now. If you are listening to it exclusively, I should be talking over here.
Yes.
On the podcast, you can also ask a question, but it won't be live. That's how these things work. So
good. Well explained.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Now that I explained how podcasting works, do we have one going already?
One what?
Kim made eye contact, so I thought that meant no. Okay.
So
Kim is taking over the comments because I can't think and read at the same time. There's two things that's hard for me, I guess. So
I mean, I kind of can, but it's fine.
But then I'm not fully listening.
Yeah,
either.
Sure. I want to be.
Yeah.
Engrossed,
engaged.
Engaged,
right.
Engrossed, and all that.
Also, we don't usually sit side by side when we're podcasting.
That's my mic.
Sorry. So if you get some overfeed, okay. Enough about technical things.
So, do we need any? Is there any kind of like backstory to like, as far as I don't know, leading up to seeing the movie? Anything of interest? Like, what do you think of when you? Trying to think of like, when was that first announced?
First saw it? Oh, it was a while ago. It just said fantasy.
Yeah.
Modern day fantasy, I think, is all it was.
Right. And then like they had that first picture of just like two brothers, like, right? Wasn't like
there was one with
earliest pictures was just like them sitting on the van, like.
Oh, maybe I saw the one with one of them was riding on a dragon.
Really?
Yeah, the big red dragon. It looked like the one in Inside Out, in that scene. What if it was a castle?
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we don't.
Sorry, I guess we don't need to say every little thing, but
no, we don't. But the thing is, like, I'm not gonna go like deep into making of this movie. Obviously, I didn't make it, so I don't know. Like,
Mike's that way.
I'm talking to both of them. The Pixar Post friends of ours, they're doing a live stream tomorrow. Don't you know, Jesse?
Oh, well, okay.
And they're probably gonna have more insight into the making of, because they went to the studio. They met the people. They've seen it more than once. That was another thing I would say is we watched this. Did you watch it again since the day we did? Yeah.
It's still pretty fresh in my brain.
My brain's starting to lose pieces.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'm excited. I want to see it again, but I haven't yet. So we saw it on the special, what was that called? Advanced screening on the 29th of February. So that's been more than a week ago now.
Yeah,
and so I'm starting to lose little bits of it. But not the parts that I really liked. So we're going to talk about that stuff. So why don't you get into we're reviewing. We review movies on the podcast. So,
yeah, maybe see if there's a lesson to be learned from it. It's kind of the point of the podcast.
Yes. So let's get to the point. What did you think?
Overall, good. Thumbs up.
Good.
People still use that to
yes,
review movies.
Yes, they do.
No, it was a good Pixar movie.
That's good.
It was, I think, I love the characters. Great characters.
Mm-hmm.
The world building was fun. It was good. And yeah, it was a fun adventure. And of course, it had the emotion. Like, sound like the whole theater was crying, except me, because I don't cry. But not that I didn't want to. Not that I wasn't. I wasn't holding back. Yeah, well, yeah, I wasn't holding back. I just, I felt it. Just
okay.
it didn't.
You felt it.
It didn't manifest itself in tears.
Okay, good. Well, that's fine. Yeah. So let me think. I liked it a lot too. The more I thought about it over the week, I think it's I don't know, the best Pixar movie ever. no.
Well, one of the best in the last couple of years.
That's what I was gonna say.
In my mind, this is like the true, I guess, 14th Pixar movie after Toy Story 3. In my head canon, there's Inside Out, and then
Onward. Coco?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't really like Coco. Oh man, I thought there was at least. I mean, okay, yeah, I liked Incredibles too, but I guess in a perfect world, it wouldn't have existed. So, but yeah, okay. So I guess this is.
Are you pulling up the list?
Well, yeah, because I was looking, but
I agree. It's my favorite since Toy Story 3. I was going back and forth about Inside Out because I really like Inside Out, but the more I think about it, and I have to see Onward again to really say definitively, but I like it better than Inside Out right now. There's nothing I kind of just like scene. Okay, whatever. But in Inside Out, there's the what is that called? The abstract thought. Thank you. Abstract thought scene. Like, okay, maybe this is funny to brain scientists, but I don't get it, and it looks cheap, and I don't like. I just don't love that scene. So there's little things in Inside Out that's like, okay, and it feels smaller, to me at least. I don't know.
Okay. Right. I can see that. I mean,
so Onward didn't have a scene that I didn't like, and it. I don't know. I liked every scene. I liked every. The characters worked like, the more I was thinking about it, the more it felt like everything had a direct payoff to, like, there was no wasted stuff. Yeah, and
that's true.
And I liked it a lot. So we'll get into more of those details a little bit later. Yeah, and I guess Coco's the other non-sequel since Toy Story 3, besides Good Dinosaur, that obviously I didn't like that one. Obviously, I guess I don't know what else to say. That had another scene that was really weird.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know when I'll ever be in the mood to watch Coco again. That's like that's the thing with me, is like I still don't feel like, oh, I want to watch it again. Like, not really. So, but yeah, I can't say that about this movie. I'm glad I didn't look at all the like trailers that came out for it. Like when I got home after seeing it, I was like, I just went on
now
YouTube.
We can go watch.
I was like, I'm curious,
clips,
like, how many clips are out right now? And like, man, they need to stop putting out so many. I was like, oh my, if I watched all of this, like, it spoiled so many jokes. It showed so much. I'm like, the entire scene of him crossing the cliff,
really,
with the rope going, everything, and like, am I still, is the rope? That whole clip was like up on YouTube. I mean, and like, why? That was
officially Pixar channel, right?
Probably.
Oh yeah,
I think so. But and yeah, just a lot of jokes were like spoiled. Like, even stuff like I don't know. Even like, I liked like the shifted into for Onward. Like, yeah. I liked it.
That wasn't nice in the movie. It's like,
yeah. I guess that looks good in a trailer, but I just love how it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, just funny. Like, how it, and the mascot Manticore, like, he was in one of the trailers. I'm like, oh, that was so funny when it just came, like, Manticore.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that was funny.
Yeah. So did you not see the first?
I just watched. I watched the first.
You saw the teaser, which isn't in the movie.
Because the second one is the one that showed the whole thing with his dad, right? Or was that wasn't even in the first one? No. Well, the first one was the one where it's just like, and the world where it's whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I only watched the first two, and that was plenty. So like,
right.
Anyway, but
I was thinking that too about this movie, that the trailers were showing a lot, because I remember thinking, before they start bringing back his dad and only get the legs, that you hear about, like, the things I remember about my dad are I used to play on his feet. And I'm like, well, that's convenient, isn't it? Because we know only his feet. And then when he meets the guy, it's like, oh yeah, he always wore those purple socks. Like, well, that's convenient, isn't it? Because we're gonna see his feet. Because I knew that was coming. It would have been really cool to not know that was coming. But I mean, you can't really make a trailer without giving that away, I guess.
Yeah.
You could just not watch.
I could just not watch any trailers at all. Is what I could do.
At
Only
first,
teaser.
So once I realized the story was about the dad. For a second, I was like, are they making another Brave mistake where like they had a really good potential to have a fun story in a fantasy, but instead it's like I don't know, they're gonna focus on like those less exciting. So I was worried for a second. I was like, but no, it was yeah, like that. The whole journey with the dad. I mean, yeah, it was all good. I mean, yeah. There was like maybe a couple things that I felt like I almost rolled my eyes a little bit. Like probably the biggest one was like when Ian is like playing the tapes of his dad and he's like talking to him, hey dad, and I'm like, okay, like I get it just feels so like.
Well, I knew it was coming. I didn't think it was
nobody
gonna come
does that
right now.
Well, it's just no. That's why I kind of roll my eyes. Is like I don't think anyone really does that. Like
Somebody might do that.
Like full on conversation, like
over a tape.
Not even just conversation, but it's like rehearsed because he knows what his answers are going to be. So he's like asking specifically.
Well, no, it wasn't rehearsed because every day he can go and tell him about the what's going on that day in that blank spot, and because you can see him like start to say a little bit more, and he says, "Oh well, yeah, I'll talk to you later,"
And I mean,
it
like
cuts him off.
I know it was supposed to. I mean, it
did the job.
It was like heartwarming, I guess. I just felt I just can't help but feel like it feels a little unrealistic. I don't think a teenage boy would do that. Like I get it. Like you can make me feel something without
speaking words.
Well, no, just I don't know. I just felt like that scene was a little much, like a little over the top. Like hey dad, I'm talking to you, and I don't know the way they did it. I just thought it was a little funny, just a little weird. Didn't seem natural, but my favorite character was Colt. Probably like he's so funny.
Oh, okay.
That was a lot of funny characters.
There was a lot of funny characters. My favorite's probably the lizard lady at the pawn shop. So much. That made me laugh so much. I don't know, but her or Guinevere is a character that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a location, kind of a prop, kind of a character. The van, like it. I want to talk about this eventually, so I guess now. But like I really like a good car in a movie. I guess.
Sure.
Like it adds on to Barley's character. But like I said, it could also become a character itself. Like it's also struggling to get there, and it's also making a sacrifice of itself or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, it's like an extension of Barley's character is that van. But it also can be a location. It can also be, it plays a lot of parts, and I liked it a lot. So
yeah,
I enjoy a good car in a movie.
When you can turn something like into like a character essentially.
Right. He could be. He could have driven anything, but like they made that the way it was, and it really worked. I liked it a lot.
Jose Seco. If you guys saw any Easter eggs.
Did we see any Easter eggs?
Pizza Planet truck. Yeah,
I missed it. Should you reveal where it is, Jesse?
I guess it's when they're at the toll the toll booth, like when they're first setting off on their adventure and they're on the highway or whatever, and it's all the way to the right side of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So don't look at the action, and you'll see it. Just look over there.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah, but once they got on the highway, I was like, all right, I feel like it's gonna be somewhere, so I'm not gonna watch the main stuff. I'm just gonna look around. So that's how I caught it.
There you go.
I didn't see too much else, like as far as related to other Pixar stuff. I didn't see the Luxo ball.
No, I didn't see anything. But the A113 was vocal, wasn't it? At the end, he gets a call. Colt gets a call on his thing.
Oh, I might have actually missed that.
I think so. But I was also looking at his badge. I thought maybe it said A113 on it, but I never really got a close.
Well, if it was a police code, would they have said like
Alpha
113 or something?
I
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought I heard a 113, but I'll have to pay closer attention, I guess, and try it again.
But I mean, you know, I was trying to look at just how many just funny things were like, you know, obviously they're gonna have fun with the fantasy elements.
Did you catch the only one that I really caught and thought was funny was the
now serving second breakfast?
Yeah, now serving second
breakfast. I didn't see it.
That's funny.
I didn't see that, but yeah,
the restaurant's now serving second breakfast. But there's that's the sort of thing I was excited about for the movie. But the thing is, I was skeptical going into watch Onward. I felt like it could have gone either way, like because I don't really like fantasy movies. The Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Narnia, even like they were never really my favorites. Like the closest I got to enjoying fantasy was like Pirates of the Caribbean, I guess. But even that doesn't really have much fantasy in there. So I don't know, coming at it and not knowing much about that, and you know, I don't play D&D. Like I don't know hardly anything besides I've seen the movies of the few I mentioned. So, like, I don't know. I've never played Zelda. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just not my thing. So, despite that, I thought it was fantastic. So, I don't know. How about like from what your perspective is? You know a little bit more about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Probably not a whole lot more, but you felt like it was a good fantasy, or was that secondary to?
It was it was a little bit second, and because you could have replaced every single thing with, well, not really, because a magic spell was the main thing, I guess. But I don't know, but yeah, I like the fantasy. You know, like as soon as I saw, first heard about the movie or whatever, I was excited because, I like fantasy characters, and they haven't really done that yet. They, I thought I might have got it with Brave, and I was really disappointed. I was like, oh, I wanted like a good fantasy,
right?
But so it's good. No, yeah, it's about time that they did one with real fantasy creatures. The thing with like fantasy, quest movies is like the only thing that I was hoping that, like, I was pretty much expecting, okay, so a quest movie, they're sometimes they can feel
formulaic.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, I know that they're gonna like
come across
stop one thing here, right, and then they're gonna go to the next place. It's gonna be very like,
right.
And I think the three parts are gonna be like super
really
clear that it's, and it was, it's like first they go to the Manticore, then they do the pixie motorcycle thing, and then the climax, basically like the whole last piece. And I guess there's nothing inherently wrong with that, I guess. But I kind of like, I don't like when it's so when it doesn't transition into each other,
sure,
smooth, like, so, but it doesn't, it doesn't really make it. It just sometimes it can make the movie feel small, if that makes any sense. Even though it's an adventure, sometimes I'm like, well, okay, there's this, and then that, and then that.
Right.
Sometimes it can make.
I see what you're saying.
If you define the chapters a little too much, it almost makes it smaller.
Right.
Like,
I don't think so.
Maybe it's just that there was only like three things. Maybe if they would have added like more. Yeah, take that, Mike. Maybe that's just it. Maybe they could have went to more places, but then you don't want to be overloaded, I guess, and too. You got to find a fine line, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know.
None of the places they did was boring, and the Pixies, I was like,
no, that was great because then the whole chase scene was.
Chase scene was great.
Yeah,
I mean, it gave us a good chase scene.
Yeah, I thought it was great, and especially
the Pixie characters themselves. I wasn't
whatever.
like super into, but it gave us a great
right. And the characters themselves are funny just to think about. Like, you know, they're bikers, but they're pixies, so it's like,
sure,
it's like a mix.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I liked the places they went to. I liked each spot, and I liked how, like, for example, like, what is it called? The gelatinous, what is it? Blob cube, gelatinous cube.
Even
like
after that, I saw that.
Oh no, I saw
away.
it coming, but I didn't know when. But you know, it's like I'm gonna see it because he mentioned it twice now, so I'm gonna see it, but I don't know when. And then when it comes down, it's like, yay! Like, I know what this is, but I've never seen this or heard of this before.
Yeah.
Until now, right? So like stuff like that, like I just thought everything worked. And the thing that I feel like I'm trying to think about why I don't like fantasies usually, and I think it's like, I mean, even Star Wars does it that I don't care for, is like too out there. Like, if we're gonna, you know, yell spells and point really hard, you know, like Harry Potter does that all the time, and it just feels like, okay, you're not doing it like,
like how do you, like, they always say, you know, you gotta use your heart more. Like, what does that actually mean? Do you squeeze more?
Or like, no, you feel it.
You can't. It's hard to define on screen. Like, what
Sure.
What are you doing now that you weren't doing before?
Right.
Like, now you just
With
mean
the
it more.
Force,
you gotta mean it. Like, what does that mean to mean it? How does the staff know you're meaning it?
Right. Well,
I mean, I know it's magic. It's just magic, but
it's the same thing with Star Wars. It's like, I really like most things about Star Wars, but when it comes to, like, we're gonna force each other really hard, it's like, we're just pushing the Force at him. So it's like, and the newer movies, the Force does more stuff. Like, oh wow, I didn't know the Force could do that. Well, that's convenient, you know. So it's like, it just feels like, I don't know what the word would be. I guess not lazy, but
like it has the like it can do too much, or
no, like an ex machina.
Yeah, like,
except you know, it's
when,
just like,
when it's time to. I see. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like I've seen that just so much, you know, about like, no, you do it from, you know. I feel like, you know, can we just have you know, can we have one of those movies where that's not like a thing? Like, I don't know.
Well, no, because otherwise anyone could say the word and it would happen. You have to be a wizard or whatever you are.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. But also, I don't think it. Well, I was gonna say that I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter, but I don't think that's true. I just was discouraged, and I was like, yeah, okay, no, you're right. That sounds dumb. So, but I don't think
like in my head. I almost could do that with this one. Like, you know, obviously, when he first is going through the spell book, like, oh, what's this? Like, oh, that spell. No. Like, well, obviously, that's the thing that's that's the final thing he's gonna do.
But that's okay with me.
And
like,
I mean, those are little things that has nothing to do with the story. I mean, okay, I did like that. You know, him not being able to see his dad at the end was a pretty good twist. Like, I didn't really think that was, but no, yeah, I didn't really think that was coming. And, you know, or him checking the list, and, you know, Barbie. I think towards the end, I think I
might have been able to guess that.
I was probably in my head kind of guessing.
Right, but see, for some reason this time, I wasn't trying to think of what's going to happen. I was just trying to just enjoy it for what it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't sitting there the whole time. Like,
yeah, no, I know you weren't. You weren't analyzing it as we were watching.
Come on, movie, surprise me.
Come on, give me your best shot.
I know what he's planning.
But I do think, like, yes, it kind of was like a formula for a fantasy movie plus a formula for a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
but I think it did all of those things just right. Like,
it did it right. So yeah.
So I'm not having
doing things by the books doesn't instantly make it not
good or bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
originally, if you're one of the original stories ever,
wrote the book.
then
you're one of the pages in the
right.
So, yes, that's true. The mom character was great. It was nice. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Strong mom.
That's kind of what I meant by, like, nothing was wasted. Like, you see her at the beginning and she's doing her exercise thing, and it's like, that's. And
one joke that getting back to the mascot, which was funny, I just feel like they stayed on that for slightly too long. They brought back the mascot thing. And you know me, I don't really like when you linger on one joke too much. It was really funny when he came, but then
I call you a hypocrite, Jesse. From you linger on jokes long, and then you linger on them longer.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but I know what you're saying. Well, that's slightly different because. Fine, whatever.
Finish your thought.
I don't know. Like every time I saw him after that, it made me laugh less and less. Like, that just that kind of thing. Like once he grabbed him and melted his face, that was kind of funny. I feel like it should have just been maybe those two scenes.
Okay.
And any other time he was there, I was just like, okay, I already laughed at you. Like I don't. Now you're not doing anything. Like you're just trying to milk more laughs on me. But sorry, like. They're spent. I already laughed at your first one.
That's why the lady at the pawn shop was perfect. She was there just.
She was there. She had her funny thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think this movie plays into the Pixar universe?
You mean the Pixar theory
Pixar
universe?
Theory?
I think that's what Blue Lightning Animations is talking about. I want to give shout-outs.
Oh, shout-outs.
I read that one a little bit ago.
Well, that was the first thing I said after the movie ended. I looked at it, how are they going to fit this into the Pixar theory?
Right.
If you don't already know, we're not fans of the Pixar theory. We're not believers in the
I'm
Pixar
not a believer. It's whatever. It's fun. And this guy made a living out of it. He made books and a blog, so he can do whatever he wants to try and spin this. But it almost proves that it's not possible. I mean, it's clearly in another world. So.
I'm sure he already has his answer of where this fits.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is
because the basic... For anybody who's new to this idea, is that every Pixar movie is in the same world, just spread out over time. So, like, people evolve into monsters, and the robots take over, and then they become cars, right? Like so.
Well, monsters is after robots.
Whatever. So, right. So they're all the same.
But now this
universe.
movie is almost a whole retelling of history.
Right.
Now there's magic, and then the fantasy creatures, make the modern world modern, and and they're all fantasy.
Right.
So
like shows
fantasy since back then.
Right.
So you'd either have to say that whatever that if you try to say that this took place back then, and then somehow the monsters went away, and then and then
society
and then technology built up again, but probably not. My guess is he probably says this
is the beginning of a new one, or he's going to push it way back.
He must put this somewhere around the monster, before we became monsters. I don't even know.
Well, they're like human monster hybrids, the mythical creatures. I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, when you're making stuff up, you just give it more time. That's what evolution does. They couldn't possibly evolve in that amount of time. Just
my theory is that Pixar made this movie specifically to shut up this guy up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But
right. What else was there?
So going back to the crossing the ravine scene, that was
good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Like it was a really tense moment. Even though he's not gonna die, they just did a really good job of I really was like, oh man, like this, when the rope went away, I was like wow, I'm actually
feeling
this is legit,
something?
Freaky, scary, I was like
you don't like heights.
Just I don't know, just the way they filmed it was great. I usually don't really get
emotionally
scared for the character.
Oh sure,
but I actually got I don't know, just the whole way they did that scene. Yeah, I don't know.
One thing I was thinking was they did kind of surprise me with that scene. Was I thought he kept talking about how he's got to believe it or whatever, but then he ties the rope around him, so it shows that you really don't believe it. If you're tying a rope, you got your doubts or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I thought it wasn't going to work until he took the rope off, and that's what he was going to say. You won't be able to do it until you take the rope off. But then it started working. So that's the way they did it was better, but that was just they surprised me there that it did work with the rope on and they fell off. Mm-hmm. That was way better than what I originally thought.
Yeah, so it that was cool. He learned spells for each new thing. kind of give it a video game feel to it. Like that's how a video game would play out. Like you know, you get to this next part of the game, and now you have to learn a spell to. So, and then at the end, you put them all together, all the stuff you learned, and so that was cool. Just that. I forgot the word, but whatever.
Before we continue talking about Onward, I do want to say I've seen your comments, everybody. I'm not reading them all, but we'll answer some things somewhat related to the conversation because this has to make sense both on the podcast and on the live thing. so we don't want to cross our thought trains because that causes an accident, Jesse. That's how that works. So if you ever want to ask anything, we're on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, and you can comment in a thing, and we'll answer it. But this live one, we might not get to every different random topic. Thank you. There was one scene I want to talk about. I can't remember even what he was saying. They're in the van and he's trying to learn the thing, and you gotta feel it. And he's saying the thing to make it float. I can't remember what the spell is or whatever, but who cares? It felt like that was the only scene in the whole movie that I was like rolled my eyes, like you said, because it's like I've seen this before. This was Monsters U. This was Sully saying "dig deep," you know, and it's like I've seen. Like you gotta try it. Dig deep. No, really, Mike. Leviosa, whatever he said.
Yeah.
It was the same scene, but on wheels. So that was the only thing. And it was in my head, like Monsters U, because I knew that it was the same director. So I was kind of just MU was fresh in my mind, I guess. I was just thinking about it. So that scene, Aloft Elevar, thank you, Master Jimenez, the real wizard in the comments that knows what it's called. Peter remembered that like 2 days ago.
He tried to Aloft Elevar or something?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He was taking a bath and he said
he was taking a
Is it
bath.
Alavar or Elevar, like elevate?
Elevar, I believe. But
yeah, in my mind.
Elevar, yeah. Like elevate, yeah. Aloft. Also float, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he just tried to make things float, I guess. But he had an Ian toy from McDonald's. So,
oh, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, so he remembered the words, I guess, because they were yelling it.
Let's see. What other talking points?
Which one of you would be Barley and Ian?
Master Jimenez. Between who? Master who?
Master Jimenez.
Master Jimenez. Oh, well, he just talked to you. Who would be Ian and Barley between us? We're both.
We were both kind
of an Ian. Scrawny and shy. At some point in the movie, I related to each one of the family. Like, obviously Ian, like he just kind of like that awkward, like doesn't really want to talk in a group kind of kid, like, and just shy at school or whatever. That felt relatable. But then Barley, like I'm an older brother, and then so he drives up in his dumb looking car, and it's like, I bet this is how my brother feels if I ever were to pick him up in the Pizza Planet truck, like hey, well, come on, let's go, like honking the horn or whatever. Like that's probably how he feels, is like embarrassed by me, and everything about the the van was just hilarious to me, because like this is almost the Pizza Planet truck. It's silly and it's run down, and it's probably not a good vehicle to have, but it runs, and he's more proud of the he really likes the
aesthetic,
like what he's done to decorate and everything, and
like his hard
his hard work is that it's cool looking. Like it's not so much that it runs well, although he made it run well, right? So like that was funny. And then like you gotta turn it, there's a sweet spot right in the middle, like all that was so funny. Like yeah, it's just like, this is just like my truck. So I related to Barley in a lot of ways that way. Also, I'm kind of like, between me and my little brother, I'm more the like theatrical goofy one, and he's totally not. So related there. I guess, why can't I think of the mom's name right now? Anyways, just her in that, like, the dumb dog just like runs right in front of her and trips her right as soon as she's walking somewhere. Like that happens to me every day. It's like, so that was hilarious. It was a tiny little thing, but it was awesome. So it's like, you just get out of here. Like the dog just like walks right in front of her where she's stepping. And then somehow even I related to the pants because I was just thinking like, it made me think about like, well, you know, if I died like now, what would Peter remember about me when he's 16 or 17? Like, I don't know. He
Nothing specific, probably.
nothing
Just like
specific, but
just
like,
like the way he maybe felt in a certain, like, yeah, like, I mean, maybe some, like, maybe something like, but
maybe the prickly beard, like,
mm,
you know, like, I mean, it's a little different because he's got, you know, hours of videos, but even that's
that's
not
true.
really me. Like that's only a tiny part of who I am is what you'll see in a video. See his teenage son, like that's great. You know, I was thinking about it from the dad's perspective. And so anyway, that was really great. Yeah, I liked all of the family. I couldn't really relate to Colt.
I'd also kind of agree that I related to Ian in some ways, and Barley. Barley, you know, yeah, like as far as um, just, you know, the playful nature that,
Of
yeah,
Barley.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and not being embarrassed, you know, to be, I don't know, just goofy or
Mhm.
whatever. And then of course, and then Ian, lack of confidence and stuff like that.
You have
Therapy time.
You have a lack of confidence,
So
Jesse.
down
Well, that's funny. That I know I said we weren't going to go like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but I this past week have been watching and listening to the Pixar post guys, all the stuff that they talked about and with the filmmakers, and they, you know, it was a very personal story for the director Dan Scanlon, and like he lost his dad when he was young, and his you know, him and his brother kind of bonded that way, and he was keeping the movie a secret from his brother. Like he didn't talk to his brother about the movie, so his brother only knew what he saw from trailers and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so like anyway, he said now they talk all the time about, you know, their feelings all the time. He said this movie broke me. Now my brother and I just talk about feelings all the time. So it's like funny.
I'm glad they had the integrity not to do any like crotch jokes when they have a
oh yeah, when you
crotch for the entire movie.
Right,
But you know, thank you for not
doing that.
doing any stupid jokes with you know, like it, yeah. One other thing that was going back to kind of like going by the book sort of thing of uh, they did like every movie does. They had to do like that third act just before the end. Like there's one last like kind of fight that breaks them up for just a little bit. I just feel like, okay, like
what was that?
in this one, it was when he yells at him and says,
"Oh yeah,
see, you are, you know, or whatever he calls him, I forgot,
or whatever he was."
I'm like, we're doing this again. Like, why is there always gonna be some like one last thing that like divides them right before they, and then they come right back together in just like a couple of minutes almost. It's like, I'm getting a little tired of that, and it's always so rushed. Like, if you're gonna do that in the middle act, not the third act. Like,
yeah, well, they did. I mean,
they did, but then they resolved it. But now it's like, no, we got it.
Kind of resolved it.
Well, not. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They just like
not
moved
really.
away from it. Like,
yeah,
they just decided they got more things to bring them together. They're gonna dance and have fun instead. So they're not gonna worry about this. How do you think about me thing right now?
So, but yeah, I just get. I just feel like.
Did you like the mom part? How the mom played a role?
Yeah, well, we
talked about that a bit. How it was kind of a good payoff, you know. All of her scenes,
because I don't know if everybody can hear you.
Okay.
We like the mom.
Oh, did we like the mom?
Not the mom. Do we like the mom? But like, do we like that she played a part? Yeah. She played a part, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name. Julie Louise Dreyfus. I can't remember her name right now. So yes, we talked about how she had a little part, but. Well, no, she didn't. She played a big part. She's following them the whole time. Yeah.
Yes.
Somehow I just think of the beginning and the end.
No, she had the
But
whole
she
thing
had
with
the whole
Manticore.
yeah, the thing with Manticore was funny. Yeah, she was a great character.
Oh,
Of course, the scene.
one of the
my
best.
favorite scene.
Well, but also one of the greatest like animated. I don't know how to word this. The face she made when the girl was like, "So are you gonna fix that karaoke machine or whatever?" And she's like yes, I guess I'm getting to that kind of thing. But
yeah.
it was the face she made was so. I was like,
The Manticore.
I do you remember what I'm saying? Like I forgot exactly what she said.
So
Like
relatable.
but it was and like I was like, it's such a human face. I was like, how
This Manticore.
like the animation was just so spot on. They nailed the expression so well. Like
That's funny.
it was so funny how much humor was just in that face. It was great.
Yeah, good.
One of the best, animated, just faces I've seen in a long time. I don't know. You'll see it again next time you watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I remember. I know
laughed.
what you're talking about.
Okay,
but
you do
yeah,
remember.
yeah, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, are we at the point where we can like learn lessons, or do we want to kind of read what people are saying?
Yeah. We'll kind of go in other random directions of questions right now for a short couple minutes.
Somebody wants to know.
Who?
Jose.
Jose Seiko.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate Onward?
Oh, that's a good way to say it. You gave it a thumbs up. Is that on a scale of 1 to 10?
A scale of 1 to 10.
10 is
Toy Story. 1 is
Toy Story 4.
I was waiting to see when can we rip Toy Story 4 in this video.
No.
Okay.
I don't know if 1 is Toy Story 4. 1 is.
Well, for me, it's like.
What is a 1 movie? Something that you actually
like Good Dinosaur, Coco, Cars 2.
Are you? But you're just talking about Pixar. I'm talking.
Sure.
Any movie ever.
Any movie ever. That's.
I should pull out my top 40 pyramid.
Anyway, I would go with like
what number?
Like
give it a number.
I feel like everyone. I feel like 7 is too expected.
That's better.
Well, I don't know, because then I just feel like I have to round up. But now I'm starting to feel like I don't know what 6.5 looks like though. That feels low, but it's not. Like
feel low.
I do like it, but if we're saying that 10 is a Toy Story, then yeah, I guess I would have to. It's no more than a 7. I'll go back to saying 7. 6.5 feels bad. I don't know.
Our scales are different.
They are.
My scale would be not that, yeah, like there's really nothing I didn't like about it. I mean, I don't love fantasy genres and yelling spells at things. But that didn't
stupid on.
Yeah, looks
sorry.
He usually sits all cross-legged up when we're recording.
Right now I'm being filmed.
Yeah, so I can't do that.
I can't get comfy.
But even though I don't care for shouting spells and fantasizing things, I did like this movie a lot, and there was pretty much nothing I didn't like about it. So 8.5. 9. What? It's 8, I guess. I don't know. What do the numbers mean? That's why we don't do numbers usually.
Yeah, numbers are tricky.
Numbers are hard, guys.
Yeah, all I know is I liked it, and it's one that I would watch again. Like, so, and it gave me, it gave me
some hope in Pixar, because that's what it gave me.
Well, how was I gonna say it? It delivered on the Pixar feel, if that's the way I can explain it.
Sure.
That's what as long as it does that, and that doesn't just mean because it got emotional. Like that doesn't.
No, it doesn't mean it. No,
see,
that's what people think. Like
they
Pixar, Pixar means you're gonna cry. That means it's a good Pixar movie. No.
That's why Toy Story 4 is good, because it made me cry.
But Toy Story 4 didn't. No, it made me cry because how bad it was. It made me cry later, as I was trying to think about things in my life. But yes, it did. Onward, I did cry at Onward. You said the whole theater except you, so that included me. And but I thought it was great.
Yeah, it had the Pixar,
and it was super. It was very funny. I think it was the funniest Pixar movie in a long time. Yeah, like pretty much since Toy Story 3, I haven't liked a Pixar movie this much.
I'll still say I like Inside Out more, but
which is okay. Inside Out's one of my favorites. So this probably makes it on my top 40 list of favorite movies, but then also some things might get knocked off. Toy Story 4 made 3 worse, so maybe that's going to go down a level.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
In my opinionated pyramid thing. If you don't have any clue what I'm talking about, you should listen to we in a podcast talked all about our favorite movies, and we ranked them all, but I couldn't pick between certain ones, so I put it in a pyramid shape. Anyways, I might have to do that again because there have been a few movies that come out since then.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we learn something from Onward? I don't know what we're going to learn from Onward that we didn't already talk about.
There's things to learn.
Somebody rates it a 3. The Jackpot Gold YT Vlogs and more rated it a 3.
Where do you see that?
He didn't like it. Right down there. The newest comment.
Oh. Just a 3, hey? Why?
Why didn't you like it? I mean, I there's reasons to not like it. It's getting mixed reviews, which I'm kind of surprised. Like Toy Story,
I heard it's
get more
bombing because no one's
going because the people don't want to go out because of the virus.
But I also heard some people say, like, I feel like I haven't like been hearing enough about the movie that's even out right now. Like,
well, I mean, it's a weird time. Pixar hasn't released one in March before, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I liked it in March. I want to keep seeing them in March. I'd rather have one now and just we don't need one in the summer. If we get one now and then November, like that'd be awesome. But the next one's Soul, which is in the middle of June, so we don't even have to wait that long. But yeah, it could be because of the date. And I don't know if bombing's really the right way to say it. But like it's not performing as well as it should have, which an interesting thing that I read, and I don't know, like, whoop, yeah, gotcha, Mike. I don't know how true it is, but it's important for Onward to do well because it's not a sequel. That if it performs poorly, that'll tell Disney that Pixar needs to just go back to all these sequels that they've been doing, because Pixar recently, the person, Mr. Pixar, came out and said, there's no sequels being planned right now. There's a whole bunch. You got Dory, you got Monsters, you got Incredibles, you got Toy Story, and now there's nothing in the pipeline that's a sequel, which is great news. But if it's far down the pipeline and it hasn't made it that far yet, and Onward doesn't do well, and then Soul doesn't do that well, then chances are they could knock those off and replace them with Toy Story 5 or Nemo 3. You know, it's like
sad. Like when did people
want that more?
When did people start asking for more like sequels of Pixar? Like I remember
of Pixar movies,
right? Like wasn't the fun anytime a new Pixar movie came out? Like ooh, like a new a new world, a new characters. Like you knew it was gonna be good because it was Pixar,
or at least you thought.
And what's funny is like if anything, people like I guess making money and being not a good movie isn't
they're not equivalent.
Like Cars 2 came out and I guess it did well, maybe probably somewhat.
Toy Story 4 made a lot of money, $1 billion.
So that's the thing. If people go see them, then I guess they'll make them. But
that's the thing. People are more likely to go to a theater for a sequel because they know it's less of a risk. Like, okay, this is gonna be a Toy Story movie. Like, I already know I like these characters. You know, like
I guess, but every movie before that, I would did well, right? Like financially. I mean,
sure, but they're not getting in the billions.
Not a lot of movies were hitting billions in them around that, but I don't know, but I'm done with we're good with sequels. So let's get back to the original stuff.
So presumably we will have more original stuff from Pixar for the next few years. So that's great. I think I'm looking forward to them. Soul, I also don't know what to think, but it's Pete Docter, so I'm hopeful. He's directing still, right? Even though he's super important now.
I think so.
The creative lead. I think he's still also directing it. So, um, so I'm just browsing through a couple comments here before you can think about what we learned. There's Master Jimenez says mythical creatures.
You know, like
the world,
a world of these things
experiment,
but they act like like a human society.
Right.
That's always been a Pixar thing. So I don't see that as ripping off one thing in particular.
Right.
Like
it's almost more like Zootopia is more like a version of a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, it's animals in a human society, not like toys or monsters or bugs or whatever, fish acting like humans, working like humans. So
it's hard to say. It's hard to see it to me as ripping off Zootopia when Zootopia was already a Pixar feeling movie.
Sure.
So this is just kind of more that. There was that Netflix movie Bright, which I think this is even closer to because that was the whole premise.
Did you watch that?
No, I know. I know what it was about. Like fantasy creatures living in modern day. Except for it's slightly different because in Bright there was also humans.
So X-Men.
I mean, there's no centaurs in X-Men or anything.
I don't know if there's centaurs in Bright. Anyway.
Probably. I don't know.
So I think what we're learning...
We're learning that everything should have a payoff.
Right.
Like,
even the little jokes, it's great when they come back and actually mean something somewhat important later. That's good.
I don't like when it's too obvious, though, that, this is definitely...
coming back later.
This is definitely I don't like when foreshadows are super, super obvious, but, when you... Yeah, but when you can make it work and it feels natural and it's like, hey, like that was cool because earlier we saw them doing that. Like, when it's not super like spot on, like, but I definitely always want to make every scene or characters have a good payoff.
That was my tummy grumbling. I don't think anyone heard that but you, so.
Those are the moments that like give me those, I don't know, just those. Just kind of gives you, just a good fun feeling when you watch like a character doing, I don't know, just when you get a nice, fun, good like resolve with every character's, I don't know, it makes for a really good series.
The other thing that they paid off that I didn't expect that was coming back was the whole fountain thing.
Yeah.
That was a joke at the beginning.
Yeah,
it was just like a funny joke.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, the fountain. Okay.
Right. It was just a funny joke at the beginning, but then it was actually important later. That was awesome. Like I really like stuff like that. And it had felt like a really long time since we saw that, so you almost forget about it by the time it comes back. So
I really liked when Ian tried talking to those other kids that they didn't like do the thing of like this guy's weird, or like
they were being nice.
Like they were being like, for once it was like these are just normal kids at school,
right?
Like they don't always treat
people
and no, they were fine, and he just lost confidence and then like backed out. So it was a nice change of pace because so many other movies would have just done that the other way where he embarrasses himself and then they don't want anything to do with him. But no, it was nice to see like other normal kids like so.
How do you like that? Master Jimenez pointed out another interesting thing that he's foreshadowing Ian facing the dragon by going into school, and he's just like, this dragon's looking at him, but then he actually faces
bring back the dragon. And that was great. Like it was a good laugh, and have that metaphor to it too. So that's great. When you can combine a joke with something that's actually important, win-win.
Yeah,
another good lesson.
Yeah, there's another good lesson, guys.
Yeah, like make the jokes be part of stuff that really matters.
Yeah, good. Alrighty, that's about it for this episode of the podcast. So thanks for listening, all you listeners. Thanks for watching, all you watchers. Did you want to do anything else with either of these before we go?
Well, we can chat a little more on the YouTube gang, but for the podcast, I'd say we're gonna bring this to a close.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, you know what I thought before we close this podcast? I saw 2 other movies that we haven't talked about on this podcast that I'd like to.
Oh.
But it doesn't have to be now. It could be now. Let's do it right now. 1917, I thought was really great.
I really want to see it.
I don't usually like war movies. Actually, that's not true. I like war movies, but I don't usually, they leave my brain really fast. Like they don't stick with me. But 1917 kind of did. The one-shot thing was really cool, but of course, as someone who edits videos, I'm thinking like, oh, there's a shot. There's a shot.
Yeah, I know.
But they were pretty much seamless. And yeah, it was really great. There was some things that, because you haven't seen, I won't really spoil a lot. But there were things that I wasn't really expecting, but that worked because it was a war movie. Like it was like, wow, I guess that's realistic, but that's not like the way a movie should go, right? So yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm not going to give it a rating on a number scale. And it made me want to. That's the thing I like about movies is when they
make you
want to make a movie, and that's what this one did. Not that I want to make a war movie, but it'd be cool to do something that looks like it's one shot. And then just Saturday we watched The Call of the Wild, which is Harrison Ford and a CGI dog.
CGI dog.
The CGI dog looked a little too cartoony, but
that's what I saw when I watched the trailer. I was really confused. I was like,
but like his face is, but he's not talking, so that's a plus. But I don't know.
Did you do anything that a real cartoon would have done?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the whole movie.
Okay.
Like after the first 10 minutes or so, I kind of realized, oh, that's why. Because this dog is the main character, and he has to like go here, look at this, go up here, eat this thing. Like too many things for a dog to actually, like a real dog to actually act it out. So I figured it out. Like, okay, that's why.
But do you think it was better to do that rather than go back and forth between a real dog and that?
They could have. I feel like they could have, and maybe they did for a couple of scenes.
Like very far away walking shots.
Yeah, like if there were scenes. Right. If there were scenes where, if there were scenes, exactly. I think maybe they did, but I didn't read the credit closely enough, and I didn't do any research on this movie, so I'm just saying it as a review. I think the thing that I kind of came away with after it, though, was like, that was the best use of the technology for The Lion King, the new Lion King they did. Like, let's not remake old cartoons to look real. Let's make a movie that should look real, that we can't really do with animals.
Gotcha.
That's what you should be doing with that technology, I think. So yeah, it was also good. I never read the book, so my dad liked it, I guess, because he liked the book. I went with him because he wanted to see it.
Okay.
But see, I never even read the book, so I don't know. Can't say if it was close to it or not. But yeah, that's my short reviews on those 2 movies that I saw. 2 more movies to squeeze in there. All right. So thanks for listening. We'll see you guys. We won't see you guys because you're on a podcast. Goodbye. Okay.
That's how we
end
close our shows.
The shows.
Something.
Yeah.
So
we can have a couple of minutes here on the YouTube that's still rolling. Jose says goodbye. Bye. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for joining. Someone was asking if we what we think of
live action remakes.
I
saw that at some point.
Yeah. Jose said that.
Jose did.
We did an entire podcast on that. If you really want to hear all the details.
And we had a guest in that podcast who also made a live action remake of a Goofy movie, not the whole movie, but a scene. So that's a great thing to listen to if you want to know how we feel about it. But it's not going to be a huge surprise. We're not huge fans, even though we made one. I'm a huge fan of the one that we did. That's all I should say.
Basically.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we go? We're about to leave. I don't know if Sod and Grinder is talking about the ending of Onward. I felt like it was good because the ending was. I think good endings are ones that you don't see them coming, but once it happens, it's like, oh yeah, that's the best thing.
Oh, I don't need to talk about that.
No, you don't. And that's kind of how I felt that Onward was when Ian doesn't get to see his dad. Spoilers for those of you just joining us. Jose got lots of shout outs. Here's another. That's it, I suppose. Thanks for joining us. Bye. Well, no, I was just thinking, I don't know if we have to do anything else on the live stream, but I guess not.
This is all we promised.
This is all we promised. Yeah, that's all we promised was a review on Onward, and we reviewed it. We gave it numbers too. So yeah, thanks for watching, joining us, and I don't know why I'm looking at that because that's not recording anymore. Yeah, well, join us in June when we're live again with Soul, hopefully.
Yeah,
if everything goes well.
Until then, stay tuned for more fun videos.
Yeah,
short film coming out.
There's a short film. Oh yeah, the one that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Come back Saturday and watch our latest short film. Thanks, bye. Oh, you just wanted to use the kazoo again, didn't you?